My name is Kimberly Guiry, and this is my KW story.
Today, we're going to be interviewing our KW Wellness community leader and fantastic MAPS life coach, Kimberly Guiry. Kimberly, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Liz. I'm really excited to share my story today.
Awesome. So let's just jump into it. And let's start with how you ended up at Keller Williams and when that was. What did that look like for you?
My journey to Keller Williams began in 2017 when I had the great fortune to sit next to a fellow MAPS coach at a training where I was looking to enhance my business coaching skills. I've been a business coach since 2013, and it has been a directive of mine each year to improve my skill set to better serve clients. At that training, I was filled in a room with other KW agents, leaders, and I was intrigued and very impressed to find out that there was a culture of coaching inside of this massive organization. I was invited to attend a training, got on a plane days later, landed in Austin, and I've never left.
All right. So that's a whirlwind. What class was it? Do you remember what training you were in?
Absolutely. I was getting my master practitioner as an NLP facilitator.
Awesome. Fantastic.
NLP works on neuro-linguistic programming, so it helps us change the way our brain thinks and change the relationship that we have with certain experiences in our life.
So you got on the plane, you came to Austin, and the rest is history. However, we want to dig into that history. So tell me what the next step looked like for you.
Well, the rest is history is an interesting history. I am actually from outside of real estate. The closest relationship I had with real estate was in the real estate investment trust organization that I was working with. I was supporting 350 companies that ranged everything from small business mom and pop owners all the way up to Vegas tech founders and huge tech names that were playing in the tech space at that time. I went to the training again to enhance my skill set. When I landed in Austin, what was shared to me was there is something called what Gary calls a generalist coach who can coach to systems, models, and the business. And so I stepped in as a generalist, and I learned the systems and models simply by following the system, reading the MREA, trusting the model. And that was a hurdle that I had to overcome, a limiting belief of I'm not from real estate. And yet when you step into the models, when you trust the system, you become part of the delivery of it. And it's been an incredible process to really lean into these processes.
Fantastic. So you've brought in, or you've come in from a completely outside of the real estate sales world background. You come in, you join MAPS coaching. What year was that? Was that 2017?
2017 is when career visioning started. 2018 was when the invite to join MAPS was extended.
Okay, fantastic. So just about 5 years ago at that point then.
That's correct, yes.
So tell us about your journey inside of MAPS and your coaching experience and who you work with inside of MAPS. What does that side of things look like for you?
Sure. So as any coach that comes into MAPS, we start with a red shirt program. And what an amazing program. It's 14 weeks where you go through a deep dive into the models and understand the MAPS way of coaching, which is really important because we have a standard at MAPS and we want to have the world-class best coaches. And we want to ensure that we're coaching to the same models and the same systems that Gary speaks to. After that red shirt, I graduated and became a MAPS performance coach, which I still am to today. Performance coaching, we coach to the whole person. So it's a blend of the life with a blend of the business. I've been a MAPS performance coach since my journey began in 2018. I started with a cadre of my own fellow performance coaches where we would meet weekly, we would invest in our time, we would improve our training and skill set, as all performance coaches carry an NLP Master Practitioner certification. I worked with two great coaches, John Vandergeist, at that time, Director of Performance Coaching, and Kara Mull, who then became my head coach. And with their guidance, I was able to grow, overcome challenges, allow myself to fail, and even allow clients to push me in a way that I hadn't been pushed before. It's been an incredible experience, and there's been growth every step of the way.
Now, KW, as we all know, we've got the tagline right now, where entrepreneurs thrive. That means we've got a lot of entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs push, entrepreneurs break things, entrepreneurs fail forward. We have learning lessons, we have scrapes, bruises, long days, but we don't really take no for an answer. So you've been in MAPS for several years at this point in time, and you've got a passion for wellness. And this will eventually lead us down the path of KW Wellness, which is a brand new community that just launched, 2 weeks ago at Family Reunion. But tell us about that journey and how you really pushed through to get to this point today. What did that look like for you? And why? Why?
The why, let's start with the why. I was born the daughter of a professional amateur tennis player, and sports was always a part of my life. And my sisters played tennis, my brothers played tennis. It was just a very athletic home. I chose the opposite route and did ballet, which people very kindly say that's still a sport. It wasn't to the level that my siblings and especially my father were performing at. It's always been inside of me. I discovered yoga in college. And after college, I just always found a way to keep my health a priority because I saw the longevity that it was doing for others in my life. In 2013, I was on my way to a yoga class, crossing a crosswalk on a bicycle, and a truck blew through the crosswalk and hit me. I flew off the bike about 30 feet in the air. I tumbled in the air and landed on my left side. I broke my pelvis, I broke my back, and I shattered my left leg. And I was taken to level 1 trauma. And when I arrived in the emergency room, there was a team of doctors that came. And I was told that day that if it hadn't been for the shape of my body, if it hadn't been for how firm my bones were, and the fact that I was actually taking care of myself, I would be in a wheelchair today. That's when my guide kicked it inside. And I thought, wow, if it's as simple as taking care of yourself, as to ensuring that your body is prepared for any impact that could happen, I'm going to do it. And I learned more about my body, and I learned more about exactly what it means to recover mentally, emotionally, and physically.
That's a pretty big why. Toppling 30 feet into the air, hit by a truck, and yet everything you had done in your life, exercise, sports, conditioning, yoga, healing, health, had led you to the point where you were going to be okay. Right? You were going to be okay. And yet now you've got this drive. This has been sparked in you of, if I know it can have this impact, and this is the effect it had on me, I'm going to bring it to more people. So let's go into the next steps.
So I became a coach in 2018. We had Family Reunion 2019. And at that family reunion, Diana Kokoska, who was our leader at that time, shared that Bold was considering expanding the offerings. And Sajak Patel and Diana shared that these were things that we were looking at. We were looking at Bold Kids, Bold Finance, and one of them was Bold Health. And my ears perked up, and I was so excited. I thought, oh my gosh, okay, I want to become a Bold coach. This is my opportunity to plug in. I know that this exists somewhere. I love that this company is seeing health as an opportunity. I went home that Saturday, emailed Diana a program that I had already built out called Moving from E to P, Moving from Excuses to Performance, that focuses specifically on your mindset and your relationship with health. She said it was great. Fast forward, we had changes in leadership. Then we had this thing called COVID happen. And yet all the while, with every change of leadership, I would remind them very politely, if there's an opportunity to bring health to the community, I'd love to do it. And they graciously listened. They graciously never said no. Instead, we just looked for the right time. And for years, it became a constant conversation. And it generally launched into being invited to do a health and wellness holiday call with MAPS. I was invited again the second year. Then when we started life coaching, we decided to do a Wellness Wednesday to pour into people. And through those small steps became the opportunity to take wellness to a larger level. It didn't start yesterday, Liz. This started back in 2019.
I think it's so important to highlight that journey because things happen slowly and then suddenly. And the only thing that folks tend to see on the outside is the suddenly, right? People showed up at family reunion 2 weeks ago in Anaheim, California and said, oh, look, wellness is here. Great. And yet that journey for you started, decades ago. An impact happened a decade ago to really make it front and center for you. And yet it was 4 years. And I think it's important to note that it was 4 years ago that you actually presented this idea and said, I have something and I think it could be big, right? Those 4 years ago from first initiation to launch. That's not for the faint of heart. 4 years of tenacity.
You know, something was said to me at CEO Mastermind, and it wasn't relating to this, it was someone else's journey. Yet they said, persistence in this company is a skill. Persistence in this company will lead you to open doors. And I think for me, what became constant was, it was the same message. I call it the same drum that I was beating. It wasn't 1 year I was talking about health and the next year I was talking about something else. And then I wanted to do something else. My red thread has been health since I've come in to MAPS. It has been creating an opportunity to provide wellness, to support the whole person, to support the you, the most important part of the business. And so I'm grateful that leadership continued to allow the conversations, that they made time on their schedule to entertain and engage in the opportunity. And then when the right thing presented itself, it was bigger, better, and more incredible than I could have ever imagined. And I'm grateful that I let the time play out the way that I did.
So Kimberly, if I'm watching this and I want to learn more about coaching with you or more about KW Wellness and getting involved in the community, how do I do that? How do people find you?
Well, there's 3 ways to contact me, and it depends on what the conversation is around. First, if you're looking for coaching on your business and your whole person, that's MAPS Performance Coaching. We would take a one-on-one and you would email Kimberly Guiry at gmail.com. If you're looking for life coaching, which I'm the MAPS Life Coach lead, then you would email kimberly.guiry@kw.com, where then I would connect you with one of our great life coaches. If you're interested in becoming a life coach, you would also email kimberly.guiry@kw.com, as I have the opportunity to lead and train the life coaches. If you're interested in KW Wellness, and this is the whole person, where you're interested in education, training, events, and retreats that's going to support your mind, your body, and the spirit connection, you can email Kimberly@kwwellness.community.
Fantastic. Kimberly, thank you so much for your time today and that incredibly powerful story. You learn something new about somebody every day, I guess. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. We will put Kimberly's contact information right at the back end of this. I know she gave out 3 email addresses there. We will put that in, so just hang on tight. Those email addresses will pop up on how you can reach Kimberly, and you can reach out for any more information you have. Have a great day.